Evening, everyone. Thank you for being in attendance for the public info meeting for Project 76230, which is road diet on US Route 6 and 44 in Manchester, also known as Middle Turnpike East. Uh, just to get through some housekeeping stuff. If there are any questions during the presentation, we ask that we wait until the end to go through everybody in the room, and we'll go through the online questions and phone calls or emails. If you would like to submit any questions to the project manager, Jonathan Carilla, his email is jonathan.carilla@ct.gov, or you could call 860-594-2755 to leave a voicemail. And we have a project webpage with more information at portal.ct.gov/DOT Manchester 0076-0230. So just housekeeping stuff to get through first. Title 6, your civil rights. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. There's a voluntary post-meeting survey, which you can access at portal.ct.gov/CTDOT survey. And there's more civil rights information at portal.ct.gov/DOT/equity/title-VI. A recording of this presentation will be posted to CTDOT's YouTube channel after the event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on Zoom and YouTube. And I will leave this up for a few seconds for anybody to read. Okay. And for any participants on Zoom, to view captions and subtitles at the bottom of the screen, you could click Show Captions and select your speaking language. You can select any language that you prefer. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on YouTube after the event. And if you'd like to submit any questions for us to answer, at the bottom of the screen, you click the Q&A tool. The window will pop open and you can type in your question and click enter. If you're an audio-only participant, dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. So for today's meeting, we'll go through introductions, introduce the project team, give you an overview of the project and any related road diet information, all the criteria that we went through during the study before this project was initiated, benefits of road diets, crash history, improvements, the estimate and schedule, and then we'll go through the questions. So to introduce the project team, Natasha Fatu is the principal engineer on this project, overseeing it. Jonathan Carilla, as mentioned before, is the project manager, overseeing this project. Myself, Christopher Lockhart, I'll be the project engineer on this, reviewing the design work done by our design consultant, along with Shane McLean, transportation engineer on this project. And in attendance today is our design consultant, Ty Bond, Christopher Granatini, and Laura Close. And I'll hand it off to John to go through the project.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Jonathan Carilla. We're going to start with the project overview. So this project was initiated as part of a larger statewide planning study that identified ideal candidates for implementing road diet. That's project number 173480 for reference. In general, the road diet implementation consists of curb-to-curb pavement resurfacing and restriping. We're looking to enhance safety, mobility, and access for all road users. And just to make note that this is not a streetscape project. Improvements for road diet include traffic control signal adjustments and upgrades as needed, installation of rectangular rapid flashing beacons or RRFBs, extension of sidewalk, and storm drainage structure top replacement. And the image on the screen are the approximate project limits in yellow. It's on Middle Turnpike East, in between Vernon Street and just past Lake Street. So road diet converts an existing 4-lane undivided highway to a 3-lane roadway, which consists of 2 through lanes and a center 2-way left turn lane, as seen in the image. Some of the benefits of this road diet include improved safety, calmer traffic, improved mobility for all road users. There's operational benefits and an enhanced overall quality of life. So just a little more about what is a road diet. There's 2 images here, before and after. Currently, on the left is the current lane arrangement, and on the right is an after of what is being proposed as part of the road diet. The center 2-way left turn lane, twiddle or TWLTL, you'll see it referred as, is a 12 to 14 foot wide lane. You have one 11 to 12 foot wide lane in each direction for travel, and a 5 to 8 foot shoulder on both sides of the roadway. The screening criteria used in selecting a road diet candidate includes average daily traffic, which you'll see referred to as ADT. We have considered the roadway cross-section, segment length. We typically like segments longer than quarter-mile. We consider the side street and driveway density, the collision history, and access to alternative travel modes. The volume threshold guidelines for road diets are as shown on the screen. We take a look at the average daily traffic volumes, also known as ADTs. On this segment of roadway, we are looking at 9,000 vehicles per day. And a road diet can be implemented at varying ADTs, but the more traffic, the more review and design is involved in validating a design. And for this roadway, you could see with 9,000 ADT, it qualifies as a great candidate. Middle Turnpike East, existing conditions. So it is considered a minor arterial roadway, which connects major roadways, mainly I-84, to local roads. The project length is roughly 1 mile long. The existing roadway width is approximately 44 to 48 feet wide, 2 lanes in each direction, narrow shoulders, posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour. And along this corridor, we have 2 traffic signals, 11 intersecting side streets, 30 driveways, and as mentioned before, ADT of 9,000 vehicles per day. So road diets typically do not adversely affect travel times within a corridor, and they do clear clogged travel lanes of left turning traffic and improve operations. So that's kind of depicted by this image we have up. Currently, with your current layout, if you have a vehicle that is looking to make a left turn, they're stopping in their lane, waiting for a gap in the traffic, and essentially making that lane a left turn lane. Vehicles behind them have to wait, could introduce rear ends, or they choose to just go around the vehicle and slow down the through lanes. With a 2-way left turn lane, those vehicles can pull up into dedicated left turn lane and just keep the through line going straight. Road diets can improve corridors' quality of life and the appeal or livability of the area. And there are some initial perceived disadvantages of road diets, which include the potential for increase in travel time and the potential for driver confusion. So I want to introduce the term level of service, or LOS. You'll hear that mentioned on the next couple of slides. Level of service is a quality measure of motor vehicle service at an intersection, and it's analyzed at peak hour, which is the period of the day when traffic congestion is at its highest in the morning and the afternoon. Peak hour turning movement counts were analyzed for weekday morning peak hours and weekday afternoon peak hours. In the morning, we evaluated 7 to 9 a.m., and in the afternoon, 4 to 6 p.m. Level of service depends on vehicle speeds, the density, congestion, and delays. The resulting levels are as follows. A to B is a good level, C to D is a fair level, E to F is poor level. So here is the traffic operational analysis at the 2 intersections within the project limits. We took a look at both the Middle Turnpike East at Vernon Street and Riverside Street, and also Middle Turnpike East at Ludlow Road and the Department of Social Services driveway. And just in summary, the level of service remained the same under both existing and proposed condition. So this road diet is feasible with minimal operational impacts. Just going to go over some potential conflicts. The current road configuration. This one is an example kind of what occurs with a vehicle taking a left out of Dale Road. So currently, vehicle taking a left has potentially 3 conflict points. When making it, they have to be aware of vehicle number 1. If they find a gap or vehicle number 1 stops for them, they have to be on the lookout for vehicle number 2, and then finally vehicle number 3. And there's always that 4th unmarked vehicle that could be getting around vehicle number 3. It could be a side swipe, or just one more thing to consider when taking a left. With a road diet, take their 4 lanes and make it 1 lane in each direction with the 2-way left turn lanes, and you're reducing it to 2 simpler conflict points. The 5-year crash data was reviewed from July of 2020 to June of 2025, and it shows a total of 51 crashes, with the top 2 crashes being 22 angle crashes and 10 front to rear crashes. We had 0 fatalities, 5 suspected serious injuries, 13 suspected minor injuries, 7 suspected possible injuries, and 26 property damage only crashes. And then typically with the introduction of a road diet, 26% reduction in crashes is expected, which results in 13 fewer crashes at this site specifically. I'm going to hand it over to Shane to just go over some of the existing and proposed design.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Shane McLean. And I'm just going over the proposed improvements throughout the entire segment. So we've broken the segment out into different sections visually for everyone to see. This first section is Vernon Street to Arnott Road. In the images, you'll see the top part of the image is the existing conditions, and the below image is the road diet conditions. So for this first section from Vernon Street to Arnott Road, we're proposing a dedicated left turn lane at the Arnott Road intersection and then the Welcome Place intersection. Shortly after the Arnott Road intersection, we're proposing to install a 2-way left turn lane and then 6-foot shoulders throughout the entire section, sidewalk improvements at the Welcome Place intersection along with an RFB. So this image right here is just a sort of blown up more image of the Welcome Place intersection. So what's going on at the Welcome Place intersection is we plan to realign the crosswalk and install ADA compliant sidewalks and install the RFB. If you're not familiar with ADA, stands for American with Disabilities Act. It aims to improve accessibility. And then if you're not familiar with RFB, I think John mentioned it earlier, but it stands for Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacon. Image can be seen on the right of the screen. If you've never used one, as a pedestrian, you just walk up, press the push button, the lights start flashing, and then it alerts the drivers that you're crossing. So this next section is the Arnott Road to Mountain Road. We plan to install the 2-way left turn lane throughout with 6-foot shoulders. This next section is from Mountain Road to Dale Road. So we plan to install dedicated left turn lanes at Ludlow Road and then a 2-way left turn lane after Dale Road. Beginning at Dale Road, we'll be installing or proposing to install a sidewalk ending at shortly after the Shady Glen property, as you can see on the next slide. So like I mentioned, it's harder to see, sorry, but the sidewalk is at the lower portion and it ends right after the Shady Glen property, and we're tying it back into the existing ramp. In front of the Shady Glen property, we're planning to install the 2-way left turn lane, and then ending into a dedicated left turn lane at the Garth Road intersection with 6-foot wide shoulders and, like I mentioned, the sidewalk. Lastly, this last section is Garth Road to Middle Turnpike East, and we're planning to just tie the road diet conditions into the existing conditions. This last slide, Chris will cover.
overview of the project costs. We're looking at a 90% federal and 10% state funded split, both for design and construction. Design will cost about $600,000 and construction $2.8 million. We've already begun design. We're approximately 10% of the way through, so still early on. And construction is anticipated to start in 2027 and will take less than a year to complete construction. Okay, we'll begin the question and answer session. Again, if you would like to send a question by email, you can send it to jonathan.crilla@ct.gov. You can call 860-594-2755 to leave a voicemail. You can also submit it through a online portal. If you search bit.ly/76-230 Manchester, it'll open up that website for you to submit any comments or questions. You can also submit it again on Zoom. And if you would like any further information, you can visit the project webpage at portal.ct.gov/DOT Manchester 0076-0230. Okay.
You guys didn't have the chance to see the proposed plans, but if they were hard to view on the TV, we have the proposed plans to the right.
Okay. So we'll open it up to all the questions in the room.
The sidewalk.
Yeah.
Dale Road. Once you cross over, it's back where the land is, and they go right into the road. And then it continues, it's all ledge.
Yeah.
The next house.
Yeah.
And then you hit the field. And then you had mentioned now you're going to tie it in on the other side of Street Line.
Yeah.
Where is the sidewalk going? What?
It's just to connect the two neighborhoods from.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But how are you going to make that connection where? Because I mean, there's going to be a land grab for that first house right there.
Oh, so
Because they have a stone wall, maybe 5 feet.
yeah. We noticed that when we went on the field, both last week and a few months ago.
Right, ask for it.
Yeah. So that will be something that we'll have to consider if it's feasible to actually construct the sidewalk. But yeah, that's what.
The next house past that.
Yeah.
There's a ridge, and that's solid.
Yeah.
Ledge.
Yeah.
Back in 1970 when they were doing that, they did their homework.
Yeah.
Major thing. Obviously I have personal questions as far as business interruption.
Yeah, of course.
All that sort of good stuff too.
Yeah.
In 2009, the state had a project, and it was the Boat Lake Sewer project, and that totally tooled
Okay.
Us in ways that are still ongoing.
Yeah.
And I've been litigation for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can understand my concerns.
Yeah, of course.
These questions.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know if there's any liability after the fact. That's pretty tough afterwards. To make I've had Maureen Burns out, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, right, we screwed up. We'll fix it as much as we can."
Yeah.
But that's it's a ban.
Yeah.
So those are my concerns as far as this project is concerned. I'm not 100% sure. Like I know Broad Street in Manchester has the dedicated left turn lanes, and it's sometimes they put their blinker on too soon, and you're head to head. Yeah. That's gonna happen. I'm not, trying to sway this project if it's important, but it's gonna happen because of the confusion aspect of all our elderly in that area, our customers is phenomenal. And like I said, the way the sun sets and all that, it's gonna be very, very hard. So I'm putting it out there because I don't have to say I told you so after you guys. And I think as a team, it's not going to work because we've had crashes before in the way it is right now. And it wasn't from speed. So I'm just, it's just throwing it out there.
We'll make note of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna write it down. We'll look into it as we develop plans. We're at 10%. There's a lot of room for design, for evaluating. I guess generally we're not gonna be in a perfect world, we eliminate all the crashes. I don't think we're looking to do that.
Sure.
We're focusing on reducing the amount of annual crashes, which usually result in higher injury rates. Right. But yes, we'll take your comments back share them with the designer. And
What is the purpose of the diet if those roads were made 4 lanes back in the day when, it was important because they couldn't handle the artery, like I-95?
yeah, so in general, I think we've seen conditions change throughout Connecticut.
Populace hasn't.
So, like,
You got that big neighborhood that you mentioned when I first
Yeah.
met you.
this is actually one, we've done these in areas of higher average daily traffics.
Mhm.
We just did it down in Fairfield, and they were, they have a lot of traffic. Their roads are like backed up. And then we're going in there saying we're removing a lane. It
Right.
kind of spooked everyone.
Sure.
They had a lot of concern, rightfully so. But after like looking at it, reviewing at it, simulations,
Mhm.
it's actually in a way organizing the traffic to how the drivers were driving it. There will be driver confusion, driver error, time to learn.
Right.
But the 980T is very little concern in this roadway. We took a look at the peak hours visually. We're going to keep looking at them to see if there's any change. But we feel pretty confident in that you guys should feel no volume impact, traffic impacts. The roadway was overbuilt in the past, like DOT's job was just to keep widening, keep widening. You have one queue for 15 minutes a day, widen the roadway. We're kind of taking a step back because that's led to increased speeds. Now we have no shoulders for people to walk on. We're just trying to, just in general, even for your customers, like, now they have these two neighborhoods that could bike over, they could on the sidewalk, they can walk over on the sidewalk.
Right.
Just trying to connect, I guess, this community. It's just a missing section of sidewalk.
Mhm.
And as we develop, we're going to share the plans at each step with the town and the impacted property owners specifically for the sidewalks.
Mhm.
So we are looking for your impact. We're not looking to impede or ruin the neighborhood. It's just evaluating what can be done. Right now, it's a goal and a wish to put sidewalk in.
Mhm.
I by looking at it, it seems like it's doable. Some adjustments, but yeah, we'll work with your group as needed as the project develops.
And how many ways did you say you get in shape on? Just two?
So
I think there's 4 or 5, right? So would that help? Two?
we could have our consultant evaluate it. We can draw up a couple proposals, like, hey, we could do this, simulate it. We could talk it back and forth.
Just think it's less confusing than 4
Typically,
coming in.
yeah, eliminating access and driveways just makes it much easier, much more predictable where someone's coming in and out. So typically, we do like to reduce access, and just we could organize it a little better, make it work. We're only at 10% of the project, so that's probably the next step. And yeah,
It goes down there.
okay, so that's good feedback. Like, we'll email some of that information, like what you guys are seeing, and we can design for those. Yeah.
Yes, and assistant town engineer. The town provided some early feedback to DOT, first reached out about pushing project. One of the things that we asked them to make sure they consider and take a look at, the town feels that this is a very good candidate to do a road diet, road that sort of reallocate, reorganize the area. Maybe projects, perfect time to kind of look at something and to make changes. One of the things we're hoping that they'll be able to work with their consultant and evaluate is, if there's an opportunity to maybe consolidate driveway openings like a Shady Glen and to perhaps better align that with what's across the street, that may provide an opportunity to put in dedicated left turn lanes. So that the clarity for drivers both entering and exiting, passing through becomes a bit better than what it is today, where there's fewer points coming in and out means fewer potential conflicts. And then by having the driveways potentially aligned a little differently, then it becomes more normalized for an intersection. So the drivers, all ages, as they're approaching, I'm in this left turn lane, I can turn left here, there's a left across the street. We're no longer crossing paths. Hopefully we can arrange in a way that it becomes a little more staggered. We did raise also the caveat to that, really glad, I know there's been some talk in planning and zoning about going with properties across the street, the changes in land use and development. you know, there's a business here, it's got deliveries, you know, you make sure that that's accommodated and that, you know, doesn't negatively impact that. And so while the concept has a lot of two-way left turn lanes, you know, some of our initial feedback was, hey, once you get this on paper and you get into taking a closer look, there may be opportunities where small changes could allow us to make you know, dedicated left turn lanes. It's like we're proposing on Main Street instead of the shared two-way. Shared two-way is an easier way to accommodate the, you know, the varying arrangement of driveway openings along Middle Turnpike. You know, you may hear them reach out, you may see folks out there taking a look at it, collecting more data in hopes that we can kind of make it better, make it safer. And that's a typical full-time reference to one of those lines. You know, I appreciate hearing the feedback and the comments and the concerns because this is the best time to bring those up and share it with DOT and the town agrees to provide bring DOT to the best line.
I'm getting out of East Middle Turnpike from where we live to go to show the plants. It's hard to get out of there now. So,
Which street?
so, you know, like if you're at Shady Glen, going East Middle Turnpike towards Bolton, you take a right. It's hard to get out of there now even, so.
That we think is like a gap, finding a gap in the traffic.
There's a knoll
If,
on
yeah,
the right
you
side,
can't
so they
really
come up
stay
and over.
Okay.
and
And
become fine.
it's skewed to the left. So you gotta make sure when you're looking into the sun, that you're taking a gamble because you just said, you know, oh, here we go. It worked. You trust that light that they're putting their blinker on because they're going into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, that's why I brought up more of a traffic control situation with street light. Yeah, a light and, traffic. And when the sidewalk, let's assume, goes, you know, past the field of Shady Glen up to the field, and then hits Shady Glen, what's the vision there? How does that sidewalk work? Then do you go into our parking lot and then join the sidewalk again at the end of the Shady Glen property? Or does it stay out on the road? Is it part of the shoulder?
I don't know if I could zoom in.
Because, you know, our floodlights and everything are 24 inches away from the highway.
Yeah, we were gonna propose the sidewalk within that island between the driveways. There are existing street lamps there, not street lamps, but lamps for the parking lot.
It's in 70.
Yeah,
So we'll probably do some concepts there, like.
Yeah.
Do we wanna move the lights? Do we wanna
I
put
don't
them? No. Yeah. Or move them on one side. It's just, it's right now we just put 2D lines. Consultant's gonna further evaluate like what can be done, what can be
Yeah,
done.
my point was that the lamps are so close to the highway now, they're 26 inches from the curb.
Yeah.
So that would make a sidewalk.
so
Yeah, that's one of the challenges that we're gonna be looking into.
Okay.
Aside from average daily traffic, you guys got data on speed. You said plus speed limits 35. We all know what it is doing 35. Do you know if there's a speed tracking on that or top speed that was garnered, or if the road diet you can affect speed?
I don't know off the top of my head if it's in that report from the
You wanna
road diet study.
answer?
No. There's people
We
also.
can collect 85 speeds as part of the project.
Yeah.
Typically, what we see on average, if opposed to 35, people are probably going 80, 45. The 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's partially because there's so much pavement. You should really feel comfortable. Like I have, when there's no traffic, you just feel comfortable driving. You're not going to sideswipe anyone. There is an effect, a visual effect and driver impact when you narrow down to one lane. There's a yellow pavement, and that's the goal. It's a traffic calming measure that we're implementing. Less, I guess, foreseeable room for you to drive. So there is typically a reduction in speed with that, but I mean, that goes in hand with law enforcement. You can't plan for everything.
Right.
But
Would you say, I'm trying to assume you what he said, speed limit, is that?
Yeah.
In stone or, you know, would it ever change depending on what happens to the road? Or is it just, we said 35 in 1920, so it's gonna stay. But I want faster or slower. That seems like a reasonable speed. It's probably still the unmarked.
I think that's doing like roadway geometry, not so much laying the line there.
Yeah, so we just reduce typically you want to implement something that makes vehicles go slower. Reducing the posted speed limit isn't going to slow anyone. Once people are driving it on a normal daily basis, they're going to say, I could do this road at 35. DOT just reduced it for no reason or just to slow me down. So implementing things like a road diet, there's other ways of slowing people down too, but it would just need to change the nature of the roadway. And in the past, it was throughput, right? So you're increasing lanes. They probably widened at some point to make the lanes wider out there, and that kind of encourages vehicles to get through the road faster.
Back to the underground part of that road.
No, it's just so if road diet wasn't implemented, this would probably just be repaved, and this exact same things would be put back through our maintenance forces. So it's a good opportunity that we're going to repave anyways. Let's put something that is more appropriate to to the setting. So no, it's just 2 inches off the top, repaving, replacing the pavement markings. And aside from that, and the RRFB at Welcome Place and the sidewalk that we're looking to evaluate, there's no other work outside of the curbs.
Is that what was meant by it's not a streetscape? What is?
Streetscape's a little more in depth, so like it could easily streetscape goes into like more sidewalk work. We would go and redo all the sidewalks, more connectivity, maybe widen the sidewalks in busier areas, maybe some trees implemented, some lamps. It'd be more of a corridor project. And that's, you might see like a lot of sidewalk being dug up, a lot of detours for the pedestrians. This is just replacing curb to curb what's in the pavement for the most part, and just changing out the lane arrangements. As part of that, like the most we'll do is some of the signals currently might not have left turn lanes. We're going to look into putting left turn arrows if possible, if the signal permits it. That's really the only impact to anything outside of the roadway that's going to happen.
I'm sure you can tell who I'm representing among us. I have taken this road on bike to get to Bolton Notch, where it's a great trail that heads off from there or goes back into town. I'm not going to say that this road as it is now is like the greatest way to get there, obviously, because there's like shorter and high speeds, and some people might just go into town directly to the trail to go to Bolton Notch. But there is potential for it's more friendly for cyclists. That is probably for everybody in the neighborhoods, north here to get to Bolton Notch where the trail is. So I would encourage looking to further that. It's probably just 2 miles down the road. I'm a comfortable cyclist on the road, so I don't know how many people are going to do it, but I would do it. I've not enjoyed it in the past, but I was curious about, you just say, Thor, bike lanes, Is there anything in this plan that dedicates it to be a bike lane, or just it's a 6-foot shoulder, you know what to do? Go right there. Or is there going to be signs, little lines, even just a little bike, a white bike? Is there anything that says this is a bike lane to anybody driving by to say, oh, I can actually get to on a bike? Or is it just big shoulder?
I guess that's to be coordinated with the town.
Yeah, at a minimum, we're going to get a shoulder implemented. We're going to further evaluate to see what everyone's needs are. It's good that you come in support, so we know people are driving. We wouldn't want to put something in there that doesn't apply to most road users, but thinking of bringing up like that, the trail being up ahead helps kind of justify a bike lane. But we're going to talk with the town and see what the residents are saying. But it's something that will be evaluated to see if we can implement a shared use or just isolate them to be bike lane.
So the town wants to see if we're going to reduce the number of lanes and make it here. We want to see at the 5-foot wide shoulders on both sides, so that there's at least some room for battle to travel for use by bikes. Whether they become actually dedicated bike lanes, kind of depends. How it goes. We kind of feedback to see how it fits in with the downloaded plans, but, we. Without, grant, we probably wouldn't affect the bike lane that, some responsibility of the town, due to which it makes us, have a maintenance agreement for the parking and signs. Like a guy would say, we will our local roads. It's kind of what we've done elsewhere at City School, but we'll gather the question. But if we're still seeing.
You have a question?
So, for the driveways, I know the mock-up is mostly dedicated to the road itself, but for the driveways that loop the road where there's existing sidewalk.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna put zebra lines there to show that you can cross, or is it just gonna be as it is for just cross the road?
So right now, if you look at the construction joints, I guess with the pavement would be roughly what we're showing here. Those are more of the side street. They, at a quick look, they're in all different conditions. Some of them are cracking. In order for us to put fresh pavement, we probably want to repave some of it. It is not our plan to go down the side streets. Suppose it's something we could look into, but that is currently not
You're
part
asking
of the
about
project.
the painted crosswalks, right? To
Not
cross the
just
side streets?
Yeah, but
In general?
if I were leaving on Burning Street and I knew there was a new sidewalk going to Shady Glen,
Yeah.
it would be a great indicator to have fresh white lines, making sure there's crossings on the south side and stuff like, oh, here's with the rec path to Shady Glen.
Yeah.
Instead of just seeing the road, the sidewalk might be down the road, it's nice and near, but if there was actual, oh, there's a crosswalk here where there wasn't, or you can cross, but it's there. Now I see there's this yellow brick road. As it is.
I guess it ties into ADA compliance. We would likely install the markings if the ramps aren't compliant.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take
Yeah.
that comment back and evaluate it. Once again, I think that we'll have to look into the legality of it. I believe it's a town-owned road, so we have to work with the town. It might be a maintenance agreement. We might not be able to do it right now, but we'll take that comment back. Thank you.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, sure thing. So take a look to see if there's any questions online. Okay. No one else? Okay. No phone, you have any phone calls? Okay.
Hold on.
That's in the week that you guys are evaluating the locations, the recommendations for this, area is the 23, it's a little deceiving because the town did pay in some of those routes.
Yeah, we saw Dale Road. Dale Road got paved recently. Yeah.
There are some though, like I think Welcome Place. It's part of it. I'm not sure whether the program. Yeah, we have a program, so there's information from DOT, let us know because we get our gas, give us spot repair at the end of the tank, but right, potentially be preferred.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Probably if we went down the road, evaluate the pavement condition, seeing if it's applicable to this paint, coordinate with the town. We do have survey, which is like very much more recent, so that should have the latest data on it. Visual, it could be an outdated image, just kind of to help visualize it. But we'll evaluate those. Yeah. And then with the impacted properties, the city properties impacted by the sidewalk work will be likely more in touch as the projects develop. Yeah. So right now, possibly one, and it was just to get a sidewalk in. But yeah, as of right now, we have to just further evaluate them. Yeah.
I know that phone call.
Oh. Sounds good. We'll be in.
Yeah.
This on the surveyors. right where logically the site.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll take a look, and like I said, I think we'll have to probably come up with one or two concepts, just, just to weigh options back and forth. Potentially, yeah. If possible.
Well, I mean, it'd be off the back of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a undertaking. What's on that for?
Oh, I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely consider all of that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So would they consider moving the lamp post at Children if the sidewalk would go through it, possibly?
It's very early on, but like, I guess just looking at the plan, I just ideas, we could work up behind it. There's a little bit of room. Or we could remove potentially
I mean, how many
the
we
lights.
get in?
Yeah,
Now there's 4 or 5, so.
Yeah.
If you're going to 2, the whole thing might have to be.
yeah. I think we're gonna have to
Reconfigure.
reconfigure that front area. We'll have to work more into it. Right now, we don't have enough information. It's just 2D drawing.
Not broken, don't fix it.
Roughly, we do want some kind of snow shelf, like just a grass area for the plows to put the snow onto. So
Okay,
you don't want to put the sidewalk right up to the roadway because then all the snow will just go right on it when they plow. So you want at minimum a 3-foot, we call it utility shelf. And typically that's where your utilities can go. We'll take a look at it. I mean, if it's avoidable, we'll avoid it.
I don't care how much it's spent, but I just put brand new LED heads on those lamps. And now, like I said, it was moved once in 600 years. They were much smaller then, but everything was paid for the increase in roads. And because we're a ranch style and it's not way back the restaurant itself, by the time you back your car out, I get a lot of those, I can see it, the bump it. So really, there's not a lot of play in that area, but you'll see. So to try to squeeze in a sidewalk, without augmenting the placement of those, because you'll have the vestibule, you'll be right up into the restaurant's front door. So just want that to be aware of that, parking lot at that point is at the shallowest.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come up with a couple concepts. I think that would work best, and we will check everything before even making a submission, just to make sure like the turning returns are, what are options, or pros and cons would be.
Where to find it.
Yeah.
and then that would start in April or
Next year.
next year?
Construction would start potentially in 2027.
Yeah, probably later.
Yeah. Fall.
Later?
Yeah.
We're looking to finalize all of our plans by January of 2027. So in that, we'll have a couple of submissions as the design progresses. Typically have 30% of the way design. We'll make comments with the towns, with all of our DOT units, with the property owners, and then a 90% review, and 100% review.
Okay, yeah, so every cuts in that area is it along the box cuts, or is it actually
They come in the front.
No, the last driveway.
With the right there.
Towards
With
Bolton.
that
So
little white-
around.
Yep.
Yep, and then we have a working document back with them, usually. There's not too many small trucks.
Yeah, we'll definitely like just use that as a design vehicle. If we do a sidewalk, just make sure like a truck wouldn't go over the side closed sidewalk. I guess worth asking, do you guys want less openings? Is that something would be
It
not?
works great.
We like to have that currently out.
Because, as you can see the shallowness, you can get in and out of there relatively quickly. If we have less to get in and out, it may be. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. You just prefer,
Yeah,
you prefer what the current.
it depends, because when you pull in and you go, oh my God, it's so busy, I can't park in front. There's the extra parking lot on the side. There's an exit on that one as well. But a lot of times people will enter that one and there's no crew to cross and see if they can get one because they can't walk.
Okay.
We have now ramps and stuff to get into the building. All that plays into how we get in and how we get out. more accessible,
Okay.
events.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming.